How's it going, everyone? If you've been following some of my videos up until this point, you're going to notice some small differences. I am in a different studio. It's in a completely different room. I've completely changed. I've moved houses actually, and suddenly we just had to move houses, so I had to redo my whole studio. So those past 3 videos that you saw me setting up my studio from scratch, I did that over the last week alone. I didn't document the process just because I did it more or less the exact same. I'm using the same acoustic proofing here that you can see, and over the next year or so, or how long you want to watch some of my videos, you're going to see this studio unfold a little bit more. This video is 6 things that I'm going to be doing in 2022 to become a better producer, songwriter, and performer. So I won't get into the performance side too much, but it's mostly about songwriting and producing. And these are 6 things I'm going to do, and I'm going to go through each one, and you can take one of them if you want to try to become a better producer or songwriter yourself. One of them might work for you really well. The first thing I do at the beginning of the year, it's January 5th right now. So right around this time of year, I redo my annual goals for the entire year. So that's the one thing I think you should really do. If you want to become better at anything, you need to set goals. So I'll show you how I set my goals. I put them in notes. I start at the year, and then I make whatever goals I want at an annual level. So I make high level goals first. I don't just start by saying like get 100,000 subscribers. I don't start that specific yet because I want to make something broad. What can you do that's going to take a year? Of course, 100 subscribers is a lot, but first try to get like a mission statement. I know it sounds so businessy and I don't want to go down that road, but have something that you can remember. Like, what's this year going to be about? Is it going to be about getting awesome at your craft? Like for me this year, it's become a master at my craft, which is songwriting and producing. That's something that will take much longer than a year, but at least I can really focus on this year to that mission statement. And then I can break it down by quarterly goals, weekly goals, and daily goals. So the specifics of what you're doing at an hourly level all reaches back to that thing. So you have to have like a really high level goal, and then you can break these down into quarterly goals. So there's 4 quarters in a year: Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. You've guessed it. They're just months, right? 12 months in a year. So Jan, Feb, March. You can start with what do you want to get done in those first 3 months. That's a good amount of time where you can get some significant things done. And then you don't want to make these too high level. Try to get a little more specific here in terms of these goals. Like one goal could be like, I want to release 30 songs, or I want to release 10 songs, and you can get specific, because then what you're going to do here after your quarterly goals is you're going to go down by, monthly, weekly, and then daily. And your daily is like your to-do list. So you should, before you do any sort of to-do list, you should be working backwards. Start at the high level all the way down to the to-do list. So the to-do list is like start a song, because you have a quarterly goal to release 30 songs. So start from top down when you're doing goals, all the way from the year to the daily. That's how I do it. That's how I like to think in that hierarchy, but it's totally up to you. This is what I'm doing this year. So the first thing would be to set goals. The next thing would be to focus on quantity over quality with your songs and productions. Now, this will also depend on the stage you're in. If you're already a professional, then I wouldn't say focus on quantity over quality. You already are a professional. You can do the quality stuff. But maybe you're just a beginner and or an intermediate even if you're just starting in the advanced stuff. Like I would say quantity over quality until you become a true master or professional. And there's this great video by Ira Glass on YouTube. I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to leave a link in the description. It's just 2 minutes long. And they're saying there's this gap between being a beginner and being like someone really, really good at something. And that gap is just the amount of work that you have to do to become a pro, to become a master. You get into music, or you get into production, songwriting, a creative work, because you have good taste about something. You know what you want something, you know how you want something to sound. And when you start producing, when you start songwriting, it's not that good. You're getting better each time, but you just can't do it because you haven't done the breadth of work yet. So when I say quantity over quality, it's just make a lot of songs, write a lot of songs, produce a lot of songs. And eventually the more you do, the more you're going to reduce that gap to become a true professional. Even the productions I make, I finish a production and I I still know it's not completely sounding pro or professional, or there's just a bit of a gap there. And because there's still a gap in my learning too. I'm not the world's best producer. I'm just working at it like you are. But I've done a breadth of work and I know there's a lot more I can do. So that's why the second thing is to focus on, or I'm focusing on, quantity over quality. The third thing is, which is pretty small thing, is just to keep a record of the songs you make or the productions you're working on. I also do that in the Notes app, and this is something I started last year, and I started at song 36. So I just took a note of the song I was making, and every song I made a new list item, 37, and a new name. And I got all the way last year to 90 songs. So sometimes I miss them, but I try to keep track of what I was making here, every song I made. And you can look back, hey, I made 90 songs last year. That's pretty awesome, right? And it's just cool to know, especially if you're doing the quantity over quality stuff, it's just cool to know that you're actually doing it, and you look back on this stuff and you can kind of pat yourself on the back, because oftentimes if you're a really hard worker, you don't pat yourself on the back enough. So keep a record of the songs you make. The fourth thing you can do to become a better songwriter and producer is publish your work every day. Okay, maybe not every day if you can't do it every day, but every week, whenever you finish the song, publish it. And if you're worried about like, oh, the song sucks, I don't want to publish it, just put it under an alias. Like start a new email account, start a fake band name, put them on Spotify, put them on YouTube, put them on SoundCloud. Not all of them, or unless you want to, or choose one. Start with YouTube or start with SoundCloud and publish your work, no matter like what. It's less about like publishing it so people can hear it, because sure, it might just blow up, you never know, but it's more like when you publish something, you just get it out. And the practice of just like putting it out is, I think, just mentally is just different versus just them being stored on your hard drive or being stuck in your head somewhere. Like get them out. And then the bonus thing because of that is, when you're done in a year from now, you can look at all your work. You can see how much you've improved. It's just awesome to see the breadth of work that you published after the fact. And you just need to get used to publishing. So I'm going to be continuing to do that this year. The fifth thing would be to get a partner or collaborate often. It's hard to do it by yourself. It's like I have a collaborator that I work with every week. His name's Adam Wendler, and we write songs almost every other week. And it just helps you to kind of keep you honest so you can continue to write yourself and try to improve yourself, because you know you're going to have to be meeting next week and you want to try to be a little bit better too. So try to lean on someone else. If you don't have a friend who's in it that wants to do it weekly or monthly, get online, check out different Facebook groups, comment on people on Instagram, YouTube. Just get out there and start messaging people, because sure, there are definitely other people. Check the Charles Clay Music Production group. There's over 200 members in there now. Everyone's learning GarageBand or Logic. Check out that group. Post in there, hey, does anyone want to collaborate on a song, want to write a song, produce a song? Lean on other people so it can kind of push you forward as well. The last and sixth thing that I'm doing this year to become a better producer is getting regular feedback loops. So feedback loops are essentially you just show someone hopefully better than you, a real professional, a song you wrote or production you finished, and say, hey, what do you think of this song? Specifically, what do you think of this? The drums, the bass. What do you think of the mix in the lows or in the high ends? Do you think it's too muddy? When you're asking for feedback from someone, it's already annoying for that person to be like, take time out of their day to give you feedback, right? It's not annoying, but you're asking someone to give you your time for free, essentially. So make it easy for them. Say, can you give me feedback on the low end of the song? Do you think it's clear enough? Do you think it's muddy enough? Or not muddy enough? Do you think it's too muddy? Just make it easier for them. So one of my personal goals this year is to get regular feedback on a bi-weekly level. So I'll take one of the best songs I've written in the past 2 weeks or the productions I've made, and I'll get some feedback from a professional who is a professional, much better than me, because you want to pay attention to who you're getting the feedback from. Because sure, you can show your friends, you can show your mom, you can show your dad, and for example, your mom and dad are going to love it probably anyways, but your friends who don't know music, sometimes good feedback because they just have no bias. They have no baggage of being a songwriter or producer. So they might give you really good feedback like, hey, that's a really catchy song or not. But you don't really want that kind of feedback to be better. You want feedback that is specific and concrete that you can work on. If someone says, oh, that song's not catchy enough or that song sucks, you can't work off that. So get specific feedback from a true professional, and that's going to make you a lot better. And probably the one thing I'm most excited about this year to have those tight feedback loops. If you're struggling to find someone that has feet to give you feedback, one thing that because I thought of that myself, like I don't want to annoy the same person every 2 weeks, right? Unless you can build some type of relationship with them. But what can you offer them if you want feedback? Can you help them with something? So maybe you can have some type of partnership where it's like value add on both sides. So that's 6 things I'm doing this year to become a better producer and songwriter. And I'm excited for this year. It's only January 5th. We got 365 days to go. It'd be cool to look back on this video. As a side note, complete side note, before you leave, also make a video of yourself right now, like even on your iPhone, because you're not going to show this video to anyone. I did this last week, and it was just me talking to the camera being like, hey, Charles, this is me right now. This is what I did this year. This is what I want to do this year. And this is who I want to kind of become professionally. And then you look back on this video in 2 to 5 years from now to see how far you've got. And if you didn't get there in 2 to 5 years, well, that's another spark to be like, hey, get your shit together. So do that on the side. It's not part of the 6, and it's not completely necessary either, because maybe not everyone likes talking to the camera. So really pumped for this year, and I'll see you in the next video.